What up guys? Today we are going to show you that setting up a battery system for your RV does not have to be complicated or break the bank. We are going to show you our super simple and cost-effective setup that has allowed us to live off-grid for the past 3 months.
I'm Brendan, and like Gabby said, we've been living in this RV right here for about the past 6 months, but specifically we've been unplugged, no connections at all for the past 3 months. So we initially were looking into a system. We wanted to get some solar, we wanted to get a battery. In this video, we're gonna focus on the battery. We already made a video about our solar, but for this setup, we went with the Ecoflow Delta Pro. So if you're not familiar with Ecoflow, they are somewhat of a leader in the portable power station market. They have been around since 2017, so about 7 years old. This unit that we bought, the Ecoflow Delta Pro, has been around since 2021. And they've since come out with a bunch of different products. We went specifically with this older unit because we think it's the best bang for buck that you can get on the market today.
All right, so Ecoflow Delta Pro. Who is she? What does she look like, right? Let's get into that. I am definitely gonna cheat a bit in this video because I have all the features and specs written out here because I cannot remember everything.
There are a lot of numbers, yeah.
So high level, 3.6 kilowatt hours LFP battery, and it's rated at 3,500 cycles up to 80% battery capacity. You could use this thing every single day for 10 years, drain it 100%, and it will be able to charge back up to 80%.
Yeah,
a huge reason why we went with this battery.
LFP is the only way to go nowadays.
It is just so good. Inverter, 3,600 watts, surge of up to 7,200 watts. So totally, and it also has a 30 amp RV plug. So in our RV, we do not have a soft start on our AC, runs it no problem. It can't run it for the longest. We probably get maybe 3 hours, but it's really impressive, the surge that this thing can take. For charging, 1,600 watt solar charge controller. So we can max it out with 1,600 watts of solar.
We use about 1,000.
Yes,
so.
in our other video you mentioned earlier, we showed our 1,000 watt solar setup. Outlets that this thing has, it has a 30 amp RV plug that we mentioned. It has 30 amp 12 volt output and other outputs. Brendan wrote this clearly. Hopefully that made sense.
So the other thing that it has is a 12 volt 30 amp output. So you can hook it directly to your fuse box and run your 12 volt appliances as well as your AC appliances.
The size of this, so it's 25 inches by 11 inches by 16 inches. But she's thick, okay?
We'll show you where we got it, but yeah, it's a big battery.
It is a big battery weighing in at just about 100 pounds. I believe it's 99 pounds technically.
I don't think we weighed it, but that's what it says.
So it is heavy, but it's really cool that it has what I would call like a suitcase design. So it has wheels, it has a handle. So the portability of this thing, if you're keeping it on the ground, you could totally take it places. Not bad.
I wouldn't say it's super portable, but for something that's 100 pounds, they made it just about as
it's not
movable
bad
as it could be.
Absolutely. Then a huge, I would say, advantage of Ecoflow is the app that they have for monitoring your inputs, your outputs. The UI, I think, is just one of the most beautiful that exists on the market. And another huge advantage is that there is a 5-year warranty. So we were able to buy this, I would say, with pretty good peace of mind. From what we hear, Ecoflow, some people talk poorly, some people talk really awesome. We haven't had to use that, but it's just nice to have in the back of your mind.
Okay, all these specs are great. We love to hear about the specs, but the real reason that we finally pulled the trigger on this was the price. So this unit, originally it retailed for $3,700 when it came out. That's a pretty steep price. I don't know that I justify paying that nowadays. Right now, as of recording this video, on Ecoflow's website, it says that it's on sale for $2,200, but the way to get the best deal on these units, which we personally did, we can vouch for, is to go on eBay. So Ecoflow has like a Ecoflow official account where you can buy like a verified refurbished product, and we bought this unit for $1,600. And even now, it's gotten even cheaper since we've bought it, and you can get it for $1,520. As of recording this video, I don't know how that's going to change in the future. So really, honestly, a pretty good price. It was comparable to other units that we were seeing around 2 kilowatts. A really good value for that $1,600.
All right, we got up out of the chairs. I'm gonna pass the baton to Brendan, so he's gonna show you how we got everything set up.
Okay, so this is our RV, and this is where we have the Delta Pro. So this used to be where the Onan 4000 generator was. It was mounted to this metal framing around here, kind of bolted in. We ended up dropping that generator, and it was the perfect place to put this. So we just built out this plywood. I think it's 3/4 inch plywood, just this box for it to sit in. It has done absolutely awesome. It was the perfect space to fit this Delta Pro, and yeah, it's been holding up pretty well. So how we actually wired this in was, previously this generator was connected via 30 amp AC power to our transfer switch inside of the RV, and that goes straight to our electrical box. So basically what we did was cut that wire and splice it, and then the other end of it we connected to this 30 amp RV plug cord, which we were then able to connect that and just plug it right into the unit. So essentially the same way that the gas generator was wired up to the unit is now connected to this battery generator, all with this simple cord that we just bought on Amazon. And then coming to the other side of this, I know there's not a lot to see, but there is an XT60 connector, which is our solar connection. This is the type of connection that Ecoflow uses, but it goes from here to an MC4 connection, which is kind of like the standard for solar panels. So again, on this side, it's just really a plug and play. All of our panels are connected via this cord, and we can just unplug and plug it back in to this system. It is simply plug and play on this side to get power in, and plug and play on this side to get power out. Okay, I know that might have seemed like a lot of explanation, but really what I want to stress is just how simple this is to set up. It is definitely way easier if you already have a generator connection. You can use those existing connections to connect to your battery. But basically how simple this is we just have two cables, one bringing all the power in from the solar panels, and then one giving all the power to our RV distribution panel. So it's really pretty simple. If we want to move RVs, we can just unplug those two cables, bring those with us in the future. When I've seen other people show their electrical systems, you have additional inverter, you have a charge controller, you have to wire them all in between, adding fuses and additional wiring. It can all add up in cost, and it can add up in complexity. So it's not going to be as easy to just take apart and put together in a new place. There is one last feature that I didn't mention before, but there is also a 12 volt 30 amp output that you can use to supply power to all your 12 volt loads in your RV. We do not use that. We just use it on the AC side because we have a separate battery. We got it before, there's a whole explanation, but just so you know, that is there. You can power everything in your RV.
All right, so now that you guys have seen how we managed to install the Ecoflow with our setup, let's go over what else exists in the space. Clearly, there's a ton of other portable battery generators you can go with, and as well as, of course, you can configure your own setup. And so we did some research to kind of find what comparable options would price out at. So if you were to buy a similar setup with Renogy, so getting batteries, charge controller, inverter, and then as well as fuses, cables that would be required, this would run you at about $2,000 or $2,050, so $2,050 for this setup. Our Ecoflow comes in at about $500 or so cheaper, and way easier to install.
The ease of setup.
If you value your time, it is so worth it.
Yeah, I would be willing to pay more for the Ecoflow, but we saved $500 on it.
Yeah, so I find that as a win-win. And then as well as Ecoflow has come out with the Delta Pro 3.
Basically the update of what we have.
Yes, even though we have the Delta Pro, there's not a Delta Pro 2.
Terrible naming
It's only a Delta
yeah.
Pro 3, okay? So the 3 is the newest on the market, and this retails at $3,200 from Ecoflow.
Yeah.
So for half the price to get the older generation, which if you watch review videos on the newest Delta Pro, pretty much the consensus is that if money is not a factor, get the newest because it's the newest. Otherwise, there's really not a whole too much that's all that different.
Yeah, it does have, like, it's a slightly larger battery at 4 kilowatts, I think a slightly larger inverter, and it's quieter overall. So there's some improvements, but minor improvements, I would say. But the fact that we can buy 2 of our batteries for the cost of one of those, I would way rather go with that.
Also, for the trolls that'll come at us in the comments.
All you generator people.
No, gas generators totally have their time and place. You know, if you're in places that going to Alaska, you know, really rainy weather, right? I totally get a gas generator can be such a cost-effective way to be off grid. So it's totally an option, right? But I wouldn't say it's sustainable. It's a lot when you have to, you know, go out, keep getting gas, you know, you have to worry about fumes, the positioning of where it's going to be, let alone I like a quiet night's sleep, right? So gas generator is always an option. Personally, it's not our preference. If you do it, totally cool. I think if we were to go to Alaska, we actually would probably get one maybe as a backup option.
Yeah.
But I would say a gas generator for us would never be our go-to.
Okay, so how do we actually use this battery in our day-to-day life? So pretty much every day we're running things like our Starlink, which gives us connection. We pretty much need it all day. We run like our TV, we charge our laptops and phones.
Maybe we should note that we both work full-time remotely, so we don't like to just be connected for the heck of it in nature, but
Yeah,
we have to for a living.
We do pretty much need to be connected. We charge our house battery through it, which charges through the converter that's already pre-wired into our RV. We use our air fryer to cook all the time, so that's a big power draw. That draws like 1,500 watts or something, so we usually use that twice a day, I would say. Pretty much this, yeah, it runs all this with no problem with the 1,000 watts on our roof. And when our battery starts to top off, which it does sometimes pretty quickly when it's sunny, we turn on the electric side of our fridge. So by default, our fridge runs on propane, which it's super efficient at. But when we have extra juice that we want to use, we run it on electric for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 hours a day. So that kind of gives a sense of like what we run with this battery.
So since you guys know that we have no gas generator, our only option for power is our battery. So it can be tough when we have overcast weather, which we've been so lucky for the 6 months that we've been on road and for the 3 straight months that we've been 100% off grid, that for the most part, no issues, you know, with battery management. The only time that this was a bit tight was in Olympic National Park. Every single day we were there, we encountered rain, overcast, not a ton of solar.
It was such stereotypical Pacific Northwest weather that we're like, please, we'll be fine on our battery. It's sunny, and then we get there, and yeah, we don't see the sun for a while.
So our battery got relatively low, and so pretty much we worked our 9 to 5 East Coast hours, and when we were done, we shut off our battery, so that way we can maximize our solar input and not waste it like watching TV or whatnot, because we wanted to save as much battery as possible to power our Starlink so we could show up for our responsibilities for work. That was when things were the tightest, I would say. Yeah. But overall, that was 1 week that we chose to be in that area, which we could have left earlier, but we wanted to explore more of Olympic. So I would do it again. We were able to manage the battery, but it's something that, you know, you have to keep in mind. As goes with all RV living, you're not necessarily, even if you're plugged in, you cannot use it as if you're in your home. A lot of times you can't run your AC and your air fryer and your microwave and a hairdryer at the same time like you can at home. So it's just something to keep in mind with battery management. And then also to note, the only hiccup, the true hiccup, I would say, that we've experienced with this battery was when we had an update with it. And definitely, I should say that this was user error. So we do have a video in it that we'll link here. But essentially, you need internet to do an update. Our Ecoflow powers our internet via the Starlink. So the update turns off the battery. So pretty much Brendan gave it the thumbs up to do the update. It killed our internet, and so it was stuck in an error state because there was no internet to continue the update. Ultimately, we had an entire workaround that if you watch that video, you'll figure out how we were able to work around that error code. Overall, it was a very simple process that we were able to accomplish, got it updated, totally done. I probably won't update it again because our battery's totally fine. I don't want to go through that again.
If you don't need to update it, don't. I think we learned that lesson.
Yeah, so that's been our only hiccup. But overall, this battery, I mean, has ridden through some pretty darn rough roads with us. You know, we've done close to 10,000 miles with this thing as our battery, our solar setup. We've been to such incredible places off-grid with this.
I would definitely recommend it to anyone. If anything, we're looking at how we can expand our battery to get more, but in general with Ecoflow, with this battery, we've been nothing but happy with it. Ultimately, I think this gets 2 thumbs up from both of us. Definitely, we've been happy with this unit. If you guys are looking for any sort of solution to enable you to be off grid and you don't like the noise and the fumes of generators, this is like 100% a great option. Anyone can install it, super easy setup. If you like this video, make sure that you go and check out our solar video as well, because it's kind of the counterpart to this, that's where we get all of our juice to power our battery, and that's how we're able to run everything.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up and feel free to leave some comments down in the comment section below. We are super happy to get back to you guys with any questions that you have.
We want to hear from you gas generator trolls too.
don't come on. No, definitely. I mean, when we were going through this process and, thinking about doing this lifestyle, we wish there was more resources out there for us. To be fair, there are a ton, but we wanted something that was just simple for us. So we kind of found this solution on our own. So hopefully this provides some insight that there's some different options out there for you guys. So definitely drop those questions down in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on our travels. Soon in a few weeks, we'll be at Balloon Fiesta. So we'll definitely share that with you guys, and anything else that you guys want to see us post about our setup, our travels, whatever it is, drop those in comments down below, and we'll see you guys next week.